Hello and welcome. I'm Bob Proctor. I'll discuss a topic that has completely transformed my life. It's a subject that few people understand, but those who do understand it surely live much better than those who don't know it. One day I was told the good life costs dear, but there is another way of living that does not cost as much, but it's not good. Well, that's true. Several years ago, a man gave me a book, Think and Grow Rich. I was broke. I've always been broke. I never had any money. I was 26 years old. I had little secondary education and no business experience. He said, "Bob, you read this and do exactly what I tell you. You can have anything you want." I was skeptical, but I could tell he was convinced. And I said, "All I want is money." I thought that if I had enough money, all my problems would disappear. I was earning $4,000 annually, but owed $6,000. So I really didn't think I was going to be able to change that. You know, in 1 year, I was making $15,000 a month. I went from $4,000 a year to $15,000 per month. And all that in 1 year. I hadn't become smarter. You don't have to be very smart to make money, but you need to understand some basic rules. And that's what I'm going to talk about. There is a young woman who is my business partner. And I'm going to tell you, if I've ever met someone who understands money as well as she does, it's her. Sandy Gallagher is an absolutely brilliant woman. She was a lawyer specializing in real estate values when I met her. She had worked in the banking sector and in the legal field for 20 years, and she had done $100 billion in business. And I found that out by simply asking her, "How much have you made?" She told me $100 billion. I thought, "You mean $100 million?" She said, No, $100 billion. She was turning banks public, buying, selling, and merging them. So she was handling a lot of money all the time. And I thought that was the kind of person I wanted to work with. Well, she's been my partner for 10 years now. She's absolutely brilliant when it comes to money. That's what I'm going to talk to you about. And that's what I want you to think about. You see, in reality, you can earn in a month what you currently earn in a year. We can show you how to turn your annual income into monthly income. Monthly. It may seem exaggerated, but it's not. That's how it goes. Now, here's something I read in this book when I started studying it and started making money. This book, it's a book by Napoleon Hill titled Big Money. Listen very carefully, because when this is done, I'm going to show you how you can execute it. Napoleon Hill said that when money comes in a known quantity, under the name of big money, it flows to the one who has accumulated it, as easily as water flows down a slope. Now, he says there is a great current of power that can be compared to that of a river. Except one side flows in one direction, dragging everyone who enters from this side of the current upwards and towards wealth. And the other side flows in the opposite direction, dragging into misery and poverty. All those who were unlucky enough to enter it and are not able to get out of it. Now, he said, anyone who has accumulated a great fortune has recognized the existence of the stream of life. This is the thought process of the individual. The positive emotions of thought form the side of the stream that carries the individual towards fortune. The negative emotions form the side that drags us towards poverty. He says this is a thought of considerable importance for the person who follows what we are talking about here. In order to accumulate a fortune, a person
who is following what we're talking about here with the object of accumulating a fortune.
If you are aware of the power that leads to poverty, this can serve as an oar by which you can propel yourself to the other side of the current. It cannot serve you except by applying it and using it. Reading it and judging it one way or the other will be of no use to you. Poverty and wealth often change places. Poverty can willingly take the place of wealth, and it usually does. But when wealth takes the place of poverty, this change is usually the result of well-designed and carefully executed plans. Poverty does not need plans or anyone, as it is bold and ruthless. The rich are shy and fearful. They must be attracted. Of course, we talked about it in secret. We need to attract him. Well, I think you're going to like this. First of all, the money has to be earned, and there is a law that governs this whole universe. Everything works according to a law. While Emerson wrote beautiful things, Ralph Waldo Emerson on the law of compensation, and the law of compensation is accurate, the law of compensation is clearly indicated. The amount of money you will earn will be in exact relation to these 3 points. Number 1, the need for what you do, Number 2, your ability to do it. And number 3, the difficulty there will be in replacing you. Now think about that. Firstly, the need for what you do. Secondly, your ability to do it. And thirdly, the difficulty of replacing you. The odds are pretty good. The need for what you do is already there. No action needed. Item 3 will be handled. If you take care of number 2, you can think about that for a little while. I've thought about it for a long time, and I realize that it's quite true. So you see that you only need to focus on one of these 3 points, and that's number 2, your ability to do it. Whatever you do, you want to improve. Just keep working to get better at what you do. There is no competition. You are your only competition. Whatever you do, master it. Now, I want you to think about that. There are only 3 strategies to make money, only 3 strategies. Pay close attention. It's M1, M2, and M3. Before we start, here's something you need to engrave in your mind. If you don't teach your children how to make money, there's a good chance they won't learn. School doesn't teach us how to make money. You can go all the way through school, all the way through your studies. You can go to Harvard, Oxford, Stanford. It doesn't matter. They don't teach how to make money. They potentially teach how to invest it. They learn how to store it. They learn how to count it, but they don't learn how to earn it. Now, there are 3 strategies. If you have to teach your children, you teach them number 3, but let's start with number 1. The first strategy is used by 96% of the population, and it doesn't work. It never has. It's when you exchange your time for money. This strategy has an inherent problem. It's called saturation. Is that you no longer have the time. I don't care to know if you're efficient. I don't care to know how much you earn per hour. You are going to run out of time. You exchange your time for money. It doesn't work. Strategy number 2 is excellent, but only used by 3% of the population. This is where you invest money to make money. Now, the people from strategy number 1, they hear about this. They put aside a portion of their earnings to invest, but due to a lack of understanding, they often end up losing the invested money. If you want to invest money, you really need to know what you're doing. Or you need to turn to someone who has proven they know what they're doing. Number 3 is where you invest money to make money. Now, the first 2 strategies are not the ones you want to focus on, so here are the ones you should focus on. This third strategy is only used by about 1 person in 100. This is where this group makes almost all its money. 96% of all the money in return goes to a very small group of selected people. And I'm going to tell you something. I used to think they were really smart. Some of them are not very smart. I was making over $1 million a year, and I started to analyze what I was doing and how I was doing it. I stumbled upon this strategy. Though I didn't know what I was doing it nonetheless. I was raised with the notion that to make a lot of money, I had to be highly intelligent. I knew I wasn't very smart, but I was still making quite a bit of money. Mr. 3 is used by 1%, but represents 96% of the money. These people multiply their time by setting up multiple sources of income. That's the strategy. How to set up multiple sources of income? Well, be careful. Some people confuse this with multiple jobs. These are not multiple jobs. These are multiple sources of income. The truth is, you can create sources of income that allow you to make money even while you sleep. And it's never been easier than today. With the internet and the way we work, you can make it happen. We wanted to show you how to turn your annual income into a monthly income. So now pay attention, because this is super important. It's very important. To do this, you need to have multiple sources of income. If you look back a bit in history, you will see that all wealthy people have always had multiple sources of income. They didn't just have one, they had all sorts of different income sources. I don't know exactly how many I have. I don't even take care of it. I have someone else who takes care of it, and he has a team of people for that. My business partner takes care of our income sources. Now, listen, our world is changing. Make no mistake about it. Did you know that Alvin Toffler wrote a book around 1970 titled Future Shock, in which he talks about the upcoming changes? Well, we were all laughing at some predictions. Now, fast forward 40 or 50 years, Toffler has failed. He didn't see big enough. He passed away not long ago, but he said something before he died that you should remember. He stated that the illiterates of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read or write. They will be the people who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. Most of what we have learned so far, we will have to unlearn. Then we will have to learn new rules over and over again. And me personally, I am always learning and learning all the time. And I'm going to tell you something that I've learned. Our world is changing, but it's not getting bigger. The world is getting smaller and smaller. It's shrinking. And here's something else. It's very, very important. You can do business all over the world thanks to this multiple income source system. Here's the question that I want to ask you. How many do you want? How many do you want? Because you can create income sources just about anywhere. Now, I have multiple sources of income within the structure of our business. And in this way, we train consultants in our business to teach what we teach. They have multiple sources of income. If I had to start over today, I would probably get into network marketing because it's probably the easiest way to set up multiple sources of income. Now, the fact is that most people who get into it never make any money. That's another thing. They simply don't work with the right people. Study the real big shots. They all have multiple sources of income. They all get money from all over the world. It's a beautiful thing to understand. No matter where you live, you can create sources of income all over the world. You can continue to set them up. I'm sure you love this idea. Well, I'm going to tell you something. You are capable of doing this. We teach this in our programs now. We don't just teach in this way. There are all sorts of ways. And you will say, are all the sources of income you have the same size? No, some are larger, others smaller, but they all have one thing in common. Whether they are small or large, they all feed your bank. That's true. When you have a source of income, it goes into your bank, and it just keeps adding up over and over again. Now keep watching. It just keeps coming, and it goes into your bank, small or large. That's a nice thing to know, isn't it? How much do you want? Watch this video often. Remember, we're not talking about multiple jobs, but multiple sources of income. Napoleon Hill talked about money as something mental. Everything is in your mind. I don't care what you've done in the past.